Hello, this is Tony Hiller from RealClimateScience.com. Benjamin Disraeli said, "There are three types of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics." But he never had the pleasure of watching CNN. London has been having a very pleasant month, but they did have two hot days on the 18th and the 19th. And this is how CNN reported on those two hot days in an otherwise lovely month. Extreme heat is baking a country woefully unprepared for the climate crisis. What brought the heat to England during those 2 days was hot air streaming up from the Sahara Desert. And a little bit of that warm air made it to Greenland as well. This is how CNN hysterically reported on it. The amount of Greenland ice that melted last weekend could cover West Virginia in a foot of water. The amount of ice that melted in Greenland between July 15 and 17 alone, 6 billion tons of water per day, would be enough to fill 7.2 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. The northern melt this past week is not normal, said Ted Scambos, a senior research scientist at the National Snow and Ice Data Center. Now let's look at the actual data to see what's going on. This graph shows the daily surface mass balance of Greenland since the beginning of September last year. The surface mass balance is the difference between the amount of snowfall received and the amount of melt off the surface. Every day this summer, except for two, the surface mass balance has been above average. This means that Greenland has been melting more slowly than normal every day except for two this summer. On average, Greenland's surface gains about 370 billion tons of snow and ice every year. Typically, about 570 billion tons of snow falls during the winter. And then about 150 billion tons melts during the summer. For 4 of the last 6 years, including this year, the surface mass balance has been above average. CNN wants their audience to believe that Greenland is melting down, when in fact the exact opposite is occurring. This graph shows the percent of Greenland which experienced some melt on each day of the summer. Most of the summer it's been very close to average, but there have been a few days up at the high end. This is what Ted Scambo said was not normal, but as you can see it's very close to the gray area, which is the normal range. Just like the short-lived heat wave in England, these few days of warm weather in Greenland have nothing to do with climate. It was a specific weather event. Temperatures in the center of the Greenland ice sheet have been well below the freezing mark for this entire summer. And the temperature forecast for Greenland through the first week of August is quite cold. CNN is doing everything they can to misinform the readers and create the wrong impression. They want the readers to believe that Greenland is melting down and it's caused by the burning of fossil fuels. But the reality is that the surface mass balance of Greenland this year is far above average, and it has been for 4 of the last 6 years. CNN is determined to demonize low-cost, reliable energy in the United States. They're one large piece of a massive fraud being perpetrated on the American people. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this cabal for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, Caesar, Toki, and Upala on the web at realclimatescience.com.